Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you run a local service business, whether that's roofing, plumbing, HVAC, you name it, you probably know exactly the massive frustration we're diving into today. You're pouring more and more money into Google Ads, right? The dashboard looks great, the clicks are going up, maybe it's even telling you your conversions are awesome. But you look around and your phone just isn't ringing. So today, we're going to dig into exactly where these advertising systems are leaking your hard-earned cash, and more importantly, how we can patch them up to build a predictable, actually profitable pipeline.
It always leads to this agonizing question when you check that monthly marketing spend. Where are the actual customers? Because, let's be honest, the goal of Google Ads is absolutely not to just get the most clicks. It's not even to get the cheapest leads. The true goal? Qualified leads, book jobs, and profitable revenue. Period. If your budget is just vanishing into thin air and your schedule is empty, well, expensive Google Ads aren't the root problem. The real problem is that you have a broken system.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to walk through a quick diagnostic checklist today. First, the real advertising problem. Then, finding your traffic leaks, the lead quality trap, the big budget mistake, and finally, fixing your advertising system.
So, part 1, the real advertising problem.
Here's the thing. If you're constantly obsessing over cost per click, you are totally missing the forest for the trees. The complete customer journey is essentially a pipeline. It goes from the search, to the click, to the landing page, and all the way to the booking. Think of this journey literally like a physical water pipe in a house. If there's a break anywhere along that pipe, the water, or, in our case, your advertising budget, it just leaks right out. You don't necessarily have a Google Ads problem. You might have a landing page problem, or a targeting problem, or maybe a lead qualification problem. We really have to look beyond just the initial click to find the exact broken pipe where your money is draining away.
Moving on to part 2, finding your traffic leaks.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the keyword intent. Look at an emergency AC repair near me search. That is someone standing in a sweltering hothouse, credit card literally in hand, desperate to hire somebody right now. Contrast that with a DIY pipe repair search. That's someone actively trying to avoid paying a professional while they dig around their garage for some duct tape. But guess what? If you haven't optimized your search terms, Google will happily charge you for both of those clicks. The keywords you target and what people actually type into that search bar, they aren't always the same thing. And every single irrelevant click from a DIYer is just drastically pulling down your advertising efficiency.
And here is another massive front-end leak, paying for traffic outside your profitable service area. Look, as a local contractor, you just do not need traffic from everywhere. Say your plumbing business only services downtown Chicago, right? But your ad shows up for a homeowner 2 hours away up in Wisconsin. You just paid real money for a lead you literally cannot help. Honestly, sometimes a business is totally convinced that Google Ads is just too expensive, when the reality is they just have really poor geographic targeting. Okay, so once you fix who sees the ad and where they are, we've got to look at the ad itself. Imagine a frantic homeowner searching for help because water is dripping from their ceiling. If they see an ad that vaguely says professional services, that does almost nothing for them. But an ad that specifically says local roof leak repair, that hits the nail on the head. It directly addresses their immediate panic. If your ads are too generic, competitors who closely match their messaging to the customer's specific problem are going to swoop in and steal the clicks that you are paying for.
All right, so they search, they see your perfectly matched ad, they click it, and they land on your website. Boom. Now, if that page doesn't immediately answer 4 things, what do you do, where do you do it, why should I trust you, and how can I contact you right now? Well, they are gone. Seriously. If a potential customer lands on some confusing homepage filled with a long company history but no clear call button, they'll just bounce. You paid for that traffic, and you just lost it simply because the landing page couldn't deliver the answers fast enough.
Which brings us to part 3, the lead quality trap.
This is an absolutely crucial realization when you really dig into the data. A lead is not the same as a customer. Google Ads might send you an exciting notification saying, "Congratulations, you generated 20 conversions." But what actually were they? Were they spam bots? Were they people calling for services you don't even offer? Were they entirely out of your service area? Counting unqualified calls or straight-up spam as a conversion is a massive blind spot, and it can completely destroy your marketing ROI.
And this brilliantly illustrates why obsessing over cheap leads is such a trap. Let's look at the numbers here. Campaign A might bring in 20 leads at a super low cost, but it yields just 1 actual paying customer. Campaign B, on the other hand, is a bit more expensive per lead, and it only brings in 8 leads, but it results in 4 paying customers. I mean, which campaign do you want running your business? 10 cheap leads that generate 0 customers are mathematically worse than 3 expensive leads that generate highly profitable jobs. We've got to stop judging success just by lead volume or cost per lead.
But hey, what if you are getting high-quality leads and you're still not getting customers? Well, that brings us to the follow-up leak. And honestly, this one is painful because it means the ad actually worked perfectly. The targeting was spot on, the landing page converted, the customer requested a quote, and then nobody from the office calls them back for 5 hours. By then, they've already had 3 other companies out of their house to give a quote. If your marketing and sales aren't aligned to follow up lightning fast, you are essentially throwing your ad budget straight into the trash.
All right, Section 4, the big budget mistake.
When lead volume drops or business gets a little slow, a lot of business owners have this knee-jerk reaction. They think, oh, I'll just throw more money at Google, that'll fix it. But actually, it turns out that more budget does not fix a leaky system. It just makes it leak faster. Pouring money onto bad geographic targeting or a super confusing landing page is not going to magically create customers. Scaling a budget is really only for campaigns that are already efficient, profitable, and simply limited by their budget. Bottom line, if your system is broken, you have to fix it first.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, fixing your advertising system.
To actually lower those real customer acquisition costs, you have to tighten up every single bolt in the pipeline. First, you want to lock down your targeting so you only reach the right search terms and the exact right geographic locations. Next, ensure your ads perfectly match that customer's intent, leading them straight to a landing page that's optimized for instant trust. Once you built that solid foundation, start tracking real phone calls and booked appointments, not just clicks, so you can relentlessly review the actual quality of your leads. And eventually, the goal is to connect all those dots so you can trace every single ad dollar directly back to your revenue.
So, I'll leave you with a final thought to hopefully shift your perspective permanently. The next time you look at your marketing dashboard, I want you to banish the question, how do I spend less on Google Ads? Instead, start asking yourself, where between the search and the book job am I losing money? Find the leak, fix it, and then scale what works. If you found this explainer helpful and you want to start plugging these leaks, make sure to subscribe. And hey, if you want some personalized help looking at your specific setup, check out the contact info in the description and reach out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.